Hi, welcome to the very first Dapur Berkah podcast, yaitu Ambil Berkahnya podcast. Di podcast pertama ini, kita akan kedatangan Nadya Arief, yaitu pelajar yang berbasis di United States of Amerika. Tapi walaupun jauh dan di tengah kesibukannya, ia tetap bisa menginisiasikan dan menggerakkan The Flutter Project, di mana ia dan teman-teman diaspora yang tersebar di berbagai negara mengajarkan bahasa Inggris secara gratis ke siswa-siswi di Indonesia. Jadi untuk mengetahui lebih lanjutnya kenapa dan bagaimana, kita akan terus simak. So, let's keep watching. Hello Nadya, thank you so much for coming over electronically to the very first Dapur Berkah podcast. And yeah, first thing first, how are you, like? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I'm doing well, thankfully. Currently, I'm doing an internship at my local county, and I'm doing an internship for mentorship for women in STEM, so college women in STEM, so we connect them with professionals in the industry, and I've been with them for about a year. And so I've taken a gap semester after high school, and so I've just been working and doing the internship. But this semester I'm planning on taking classes at my local community college, hopefully.
So from what I have seen on your CV and what you have just told me, it seems like you are very passionate about tutoring. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about education. I wanted to be a teacher growing up, but I grew up and saw the social and economic barriers to education for other youth, particularly in Indonesia. And I knew that I was very passionate in working to bridge that disparity in education, and I wanted to dedicate my career to that in the future, hopefully. So that's why I'm interested in majoring in public policy with a concentration in education. I think from my experience living in Indonesia, I saw the very big disparity in education, especially in English, how maybe people going to more private international schools have more access to English education, but students maybe living in areas where they're more underprivileged or not in central Indonesia or central Java, they might not have that access to English education. And so I saw that that was something that I wanted to work towards, because I believe that everyone should have access to being able to learn what they want to learn, and if that lies in English, then we want to work towards providing access to that. Personally, I think English is important to learn because it allows you to have access to more opportunities, not only in Indonesia, but abroad as well. I've seen that English can give you access to going to schools abroad and maybe have more job opportunities abroad, and just learning one language, it may impede us from having those opportunities. And the benefits of being bilingual, I think, are very big. So I think it's something that's very important for Indonesian youth if they choose to want to learn English.
Okay. Did you yourself have been learning English since very young?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to learn English since I was very young. I moved from Indonesia to the US when I was 2 years old. And so I grew up here with, I was fortunate to have English education here, and I know that not a lot of other people have that opportunity as well in Indonesia, particularly from more underprivileged backgrounds.
Right. So, how did you start this, the Flutter Project in the first place? What did you do at first? Did you start off teaching one-on-one, or did you start off with friends, or how did it start?
So the idea started from me. I first taught my family and their classmates English over the weekends, and I was really nervous about it at first, but because that was my first experience with tutoring English, and after a while I got the hang of it, and then I realized that if I was capable of teaching English, then so can anybody. So I saw a lot of people my age interested in making an impact and giving back, but didn't know how. And I also saw so many young Indonesians who were very eager to learn English, but maybe they didn't have the means. So my idea was to connect the two, basically. And so with the help of so many friends, we were able to create this project and grow exponentially over the past year, thankfully. We have about 50 to 60 volunteers, and we're working with about 80 students currently. We started off with about like 20 tutors, and we opened recruitment to the public, and through social media and word of mouth, we were able to expand that further. And initially, we were just working with one school, Sekolah Cendekia Basnas in Bogor, and we were able to connect with another organization as well, Yayasan Berkah in Jakarta, and so we were able to work with more students as well.
Okay, how did you target which kind of school that you think is suitable for this free tutoring project?
We wanted to find schools that maybe didn't have access to English classes before, or maybe they do have English classes, but maybe they also want experience in learning from maybe native speakers and people from their age as well. And so we really wanted to target students who were also very eager to learn English, but maybe they didn't have access to that previously.
It's conducted online, is it?
Yes, it's conducted via Zoom every week. About once a week. We have different sessions on different days, but every student usually gets their session every week.
Oh, okay. And how did you create this program? What the students are going to learn, and which because different age groups will be suitable for different kind of subjects, right?
As for making the program, we knew that we wanted to have a different approach as opposed to a regular English class that only teaches vocabulary, grammar, and memorization. We wanted to have an approach that was more engaging and personalized to the interests of the students. So that's why we offered workshops and lessons that were tailored to the students' interests. So we had workshops for poetry, interested in sastra and poem writing, creative writing. We had a workshop about college application process and more soft skills for the future, such as presentations, resume writing, cover letter writing, things like that for older students. We also had lessons in the past about movie analyzation for our students who are interested in watching movies, so they were able to learn English through watching a movie that they liked. And so we really wanted our approach to be as engaging and fun as possible, so the students can realize that learning English is not only something that's doable, but something that they can enjoy in the process. So another thing we had was to target students specifically in the age range of SMP to SMA, because we wanted to keep the age difference with our tutors low. So the tutors are not only teacher figures, but also friends that can exchange their experiences. Karena kebanyakan tutor kita dari luar negeri, or they're living abroad, we wanted our tutors to be able to share their experiences with living abroad, with our students who maybe can share their experiences with going to pesantren in Indonesia, for example. So not only is our program teaching English, but it's also an exchange of experience. So Indonesians from all across the world can learn more about other Indonesians, maybe living in different countries or settings.
Right.
Right.
Having a closer age gap also creates less stress for the students, I believe, as learning English may be intimidating enough. Learning from someone who's a lot older may be frightening. So learning from students who are similar in age can allow them to not only learn in a less stressful environment, but also in a setting where they can both understand and connect to one another more. Sometimes I see the students like exchanging what's popular in like Indonesia right now, as opposed and like students and tutors exchanging like, oh, this is like the slang words that we say in English in America, and then students in Bogor, for example, they can say like, oh, this is what's popular, this is what this is like how we say this, like the cultural slang. So it's also like more personal to the students as well.
Right. And from the way it sounds, I can imagine that it's very innovative and creative, right? Like in the way you program this lessons. And how do you manage to do that while you are having this, like, other activities to do, like you're having other obligation to do?
So this project is really not possible with just like one person running it. So it's really like a combination of me and like my team's like collaboration and talent. So through the dedication and talent of so many people, particularly the team and the vice president Zaila Isan, who's also my best friend and works on this hand in hand with me since day one, they all offer their creativity and ideas to the table, whether it's through like making the lessons, since we make all of the lessons ourselves. So the tutors, mereka tinggal their lessons, and we have that all prepared in advance. We're creating new graphics for our social media presence. That's all from our team. So it very much like takes a village, which really helps, which really makes it a lot more doable and manageable. It's also through the contributions of our many tutors who are willing to take out time from their busy schedule, who are maybe like in college and high school, to give back to their community and to contribute to our program.
Really impressive, like just the way because it's consistent, right? It's such a consistent project. It's not something that that we do once in a year or once in a month. I believe like it's pretty consistent. So I can imagine that it takes a lot of work. And so what have you learned so far from teaching, or like what have you learned from Indonesian students that you have taught, or from running this project?
I think for me the biggest thing I've learned is that people are a lot more capable than they think. Though it's scary to learn English or any new language at first, seeing the dedication and excitement of the students is always really inspiring to me, because it shows that our willingness to grow and achieve our goals can be bigger than our fears. And I think that's why I'm inspired by the students every time I see them every week. And it also goes for our tutors as well. Many of our tutors are experiencing tutoring for the first time, and maybe at first they're a bit reluctant or hesitant to teach. But after a while, I see them growing just as much as their students and growing more confident in their teaching abilities. So seeing this on both sides has been really inspiring to me and has taught me to not let fear impede me or prevent me from achieving my goals, really.
Right. And do you have like any tips for any Indonesian students that are that want to master English? Because we have been taught so much about grammar, and it's not very, I would say, it doesn't work very effectively, because at the end of the day it's about like two-way communication where we don't just like stop for a moment to think about grammar and then like lose track of our thoughts and stuff. So how do you have tips for people who want to be able to speak and listen, basically just to communicate in English?
Right. I think something that I learned is that it's really beneficial to find what you're interested in and learn from there. For example, like if you like movies, maybe watch English movies to increase your vocabulary. Or if you like learning about politics, maybe find English news sources and read about what interests you. So that's like the goal of our lessons, is to aim to tailor to the interest of our students. So it's not just about memorization or grammar, it's also about exploring their interests and passions as well. So it's like going hand in hand in addition to learning English.
And so we have been talking about like English and how to master them, and part of this project for sure is also about I think mostly it's about how you care about other people, right? And how you see things beyond yourself. Like there's a world bigger than ourselves, and not that many youth can do that. Do you have a tips for people who want to extend their hand as well, but perhaps don't have much, or perhaps they don't know how?
Right. I think for me, it's important to be aware of the issues in your community and doing what's in your power to give back, such as maybe supporting local charities such as Dapur Berkah or something like that. But I think it's also a matter of finding what issues you're passionate in, and also finding what you're good at and sharing that with your community. For some people, their passions may lie in art, teaching, or public advocacy. And essentially, I really believe that everyone has something that they can contribute to their community. So using your skills for good is the best way to make your community a better, more inclusive and equitable space, in my opinion.
Right. What do you envision for the students that you have taught? Like, what do you want to see them to be able to do in the future? Or like, have you seen like such progress, or like have you seen them being able to accomplish something that they didn't used to?
I think a big thing is seeing the confidence of our students grow, maybe not even in just learning English or their English skills, their ability to speak English, but also confidence and belief in themselves. I think over time, over the past year that we've been working with these students, I've definitely seen them be able to grow out of their shell and speak English in a more confident manner. We had one of our students actually teach an English class after being a part of our program, and he taught a classroom full of students about English. And so that's really our vision, being able to give back so our students can also give back as well. It's really a pattern there, and I think that's very heartwarming to see for me personally, because that's really the vision of our program. I think my vision for Indonesian students as a whole, with the broader mission of our program, is for Indonesian students to live in a world where education isn't something to be earned, but rather a right. I strongly believe that every Indonesian student should have the opportunity to learn what they're interested in, whether it be English or something else. They shouldn't be restricted due to economic or social obstacles, and I think that's really the vision that I see as in our program and other programs like this.
All right, that's really hopeful thing to hear, like that there are a lot of people out there, like people like you and like the volunteers as well, and people who helps running this program to think in such a way, and not just think but also execute it and finally see results. And I thank you very much for your time, and it's been a very inspiring and eye-opening talk, and I think this kind of like sets the bar for the next guest quite high. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.